to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, June 25th, 2018. I am Dave Biddle. Very happy to be joined by Bill Bank Green. Bank, great to talk to you this fine morning. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, David. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. There's no rain in the forecast today, so I'm sure it'll pour in Ohio. Let's start right there. Friday Night Lights, obviously, just one of those things. It's too bad for the fans. It's bad for the media, but I do hear where Ohio State's coming from. They had to make a decision pretty early because it's not as simple as, we'll just have it at the horseshoe. If it starts, lightning and raining really hard, we'll just get in the bus and go over to the WAC. It's not that simple because they have a lot of stuff they have to move over there, a lot of they have to have workers and all that, and just a lot of equipment to move. But disappointing, but understandable. Just your thoughts on FNL getting moved indoors and nobody really being allowed to see it.
Yeah, it was a necessary move. I mean, it's safety has to be the number one concern, and like you said, all the equipment that had to be moved was one thing. So that decision had to be made early, and you just don't want a couple thousand people in the stands, and all of a sudden lightning comes out of nowhere. That stuff can be so unpredictable in Ohio. They had to do it. It was the only call to make. It was a no-brainer from their point of view. You can't just take a chance on something like that. If the fans weren't involved, maybe you take a shot. But with that many people, you got to try to get those people to their cars. It's not worth it. So they made the right move.
Bill, of course, yesterday the Buckeyes got a commitment from DeJuan Mathis, formerly a Michigan State commitment. They were able to flip him. No surprise there. You've been all over that. We've been talking about that nonstop on Bucknuts for almost the last 24 hours. So I want to push it ahead and look at 2020 quarterback recruiting, specifically, of course, Jack Miller. I know nothing is a lock in recruiting, but Jack Miller ranked as the number 3 pro-style quarterback in the country in the 2020 class. Is he about as close to a lock as you could get for Ohio State?
Yeah, he's done to Ohio State. Jack actually left Ohio State and went to Alabama and threw for Nick Saban and that crew on Sunday. He did really well, too, really well. And the scuttlebutt coming out of Alabama is that he pretty much told them, I had this trip planned, so out of respect to you guys, I'm here, but I'm going to Ohio State. So Alabama expects Jack Miller to be a Buckeye here real soon. And I think that's probably about as good as information as you can get on that subject. So, and everybody felt pretty good about, coming out of Friday night where things stood. So I think Ohio State has their 2020 quarterback. I think it'll be official in the next 48 hours, I would guess.
That's awesome news. Not a huge surprise, but fantastic news. For those that don't know, Jack Miller from the Scottsdale, Arizona area is ranked as the number 3 pro-style quarterback in the country in the 2020 class. He's ranked as the number 44 overall player, so high 4-star, knocking on the door to be a 5-star. Be a great get for the Buckeyes. All right, a couple other guys we'll get you out of here, Bank. Jordan Battle. What's the latest with Jordan Battle? Are the Buckeyes still the leader here? How close is Miami? I know you've written about this in your blog. Just what do the listeners need to know about Jordan Battle?
They need to know that he's going to be a great player for Ohio State, in my opinion. I think they locked this one up this weekend. Miami made a little run last week, got Jordan on campus for an official visit. They did a good job. But this is where he has always wanted to be, and with those Miami kids, they fall into 2 categories. Those that want to leave to go to college, those that will absolutely not leave to go to college no matter what. And he falls into the first category. He's always wanted to get away, and Ohio State has always been the place he wants to be. They did a great job selling him on life after football and what the Ohio State degree can do for him for the next 40 years. He's a South Florida kid, Dave, so you don't need to sell him on Eli Apple, Marshawn Lattimore, Denzel Ward, or Gary Conley, because he already thinks he's better than those guys. So he already knows he's going to the NFL after 3 years. You don't have to talk to him about the NFL. He knows he's coming to make your football program better. There's not much you can do for him from a football standpoint. So the academic part, the life after football part, the how much the coaches care about kids part really, really resonated, and I think Ohio State locked it up. The the key thing anymore for these kids when they come off these visits, they go home, they get the video made, they get the edits done, and we usually see something within 48 to 72 hours. And I think that's what's going to happen with Jordan Battle. I think by Wednesday-ish, he will be in the Buckeye commit column.
Fantastic news. And Zack Harrison wraps up his official visit later today, actually. One of the, Sunday, Monday visits. Just what's the latest on Zack Harrison? Do you think he'll be a Buckeye?
I do. I know Michigan feels pretty good. Michigan feels that they had a great 48 hours with Zack. They pulled out all the stops from the president of the university to what the Michigan degree can do for you. They did a great recruiting job. But I think they were third, coming into this cycle with Penn State and Ohio State ahead. And Michigan may have bumped Penn State a little bit, but I don't think they've done enough to overtake Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to get Zack Harrison. They might want to even credit Jack Carman a little bit for a little increased attention and focus on Zack. Once they lost Jack last year, you just felt Urban was going to do whatever he had to do to not lose the number one player in Ohio this year. And then you had Larry Johnson as the primary recruiter as opposed to Greg Studrawa, and you can draw anything you want from that. But Larry Johnson, I believe, is going to be the difference, and I think Zack's going to be a Buckeye.
It's just good news, good news, good news, good news, good news, and then some from Bank. Thank you very much, Bill Green. You can catch his blog all the time on Bucknuts. Does a great job. Love having you as part of our team. He is Bill Green. You can take it to the bank if he says it's true. That's where the nickname comes from. I've heard people ask me, where'd the nickname come from? Why is it Bank? Well, if Bill Green says it, you can take it to the bank, hence the nickname. So thank you, Bank, and thanks to all listeners out there for tuning in to the show. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.